Hello and welcome back to another Time Walk Tower Defense devlog. Today, I'm going to challenge myself to implement a huge new feature in just 24 hours. Because, as everyone knows, you cannot suffer from feature creep if you get done every feature in one day.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
But first, I've had a very productive last few weeks, so let me get you guys filled in. Let's jump in. Alright, let's get you guys caught up. First, I fixed the shield bar to make them stacked because stacked shields are cool. Maps that have 2 start nodes now work properly because, as they say, 2 start nodes are better than 1. I made it so that every tower now has an upgrade, which was totally not painful. I updated our Steam screenshots, so it'd be pretty cool if you wishlisted it. Do it.
Do it.
I squished bugs like Tesla coil bounces not working, efficiency node not adding correctly, it made player units follow the lanes properly, added a skybox even though it looks kind of meh. The bots weren't shooting, now they are shooting. The pause cam was in the wrong spot, now it's in the right spot, and we had some spooky floating barbed wire. I made the tank top swivel, balanced some towers out, shrunk our particle effects so they're not gargantuan. Made the camera properly clamp and made a tutorial on it, so if you think it'll help you out, or if you're just bored, check it out.
Oh, look at that!
Is it a mirage or just product placement? Hey, who cares?
I had a meeting to set the baseline for a whole bunch of other factors in the game. I made a shoot point for units so Zodge can properly melt them to bits. Allowed enemies to take away more than 1 life, so bosses don't hit like babies. I built 12 sets of terrain, made a mini-map because I'm not all-seeing.
Phenomenal cosmic powers!
Mini-map. I spent many hours these past few weeks working on Space Emperor Zodge, but you're gonna have to play the game to be able to see what all he does. Polished up the Ice Mage's tower for multiple beams and the placement of the effects, and last but not least, characters are now dynamically instantiated at runtime because I am tired of Alex's changes not pushing to the specific instance of the prefab. So the feature I'm going to implement today, in just 24 hours, is the special node system. So we wanted to be able to add some extra flavor to the maps so that dinosaurs are a little bit different than the pirates. So now the pirates are going to have things like palm trees blocking your towers or a shady market stealing some of your gold, and the dinosaurs may have volcanoes and lava pools. That way the maps are a little bit more interactive and different from each other. Alright, clock has started. Let's get rolling. So first of all, I wanted to get myself organized. Alex and I had been texting back and forth as to what we wanted these special tiles to be. So I went ahead and fleshed them all out, and then I made a few extra as well. So first thing I wanted to work on was the palm tree. It's pretty easy to implement. I just needed to remove the node so that the player couldn't build there. But I needed to make a model for it. So I went ahead and got into Magicka Voxel and got working on that. My tree making skills aren't great, but turned out all right for a quick first draft. Next up, I went ahead and made the material for the deep water to slap down on the Pro Builder. Up next, the first one that needed code, the Shady Market.
Do you know why you're here?
I'm here for the same reason you is, man. I want some crack.
I went ahead and whipped up the models real quick and then dived into code. I decided to go with a similar model to the enemies to make it nice and clean. So I go ahead and inherit everything from the node class, so that everything stays organized. I don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, and I don't wind up with a monstrous script like my turret script. Now the next and possibly most painful node that I made was the deep water node, and building through it I came to find that my buff and debuff system was quite a bit broken.
You mock my pain!
Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something.
If you can't tell from the webcam footage, at this point I was completely dying. This node was gonna kill me.
Whoa, I think I just figured something out, Beavis.
What?
This sucks.
Yeah, it really sucks.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
Working through this buff and debuff system, I found that it was pretty much a jumbled mess. I hadn't planned it out real well when we first started the project, and that caused it to become a tangled web that I'm going to need to untangle. But for now I managed to get a decent solution working, and probably next week I'm going to go ahead and tear out and redo the buff and debuff system. Moving on, I found this problem still persisted as I moved into working on the lava pool tile that dealt with tower attack rate. Now I managed to get this one working as I untangled that crazy web, but it was quite a workaround solution and it did not seem effective at all. So like I said, I'll be going in and redoing my buff and debuff system next week. Then I moved into the Rich Minerals node, which gives players a little bit of extra gold. This one wasn't too bad to implement, so I went ahead and worked out the model and then jumped into the code. This one was fairly easy, and by this point I had something of a structure down so that I could crank out these nodes much more effectively than I could at the beginning. Then was the portals, so that on the Time Dystopian Hit Squad waves we can have them jump between different points on the lane. Should be a pretty cool feature. It wasn't too bad to implement. I basically just tagged the waypoints as teleport nodes so that the enemy knows to jump to the next portal. I haven't decided yet if I want units to be able to jump along with it or if they're stuck in the lane that they're spawned in. So we'll figure that out a little bit later. After that I jumped right into the volcano, which model turned out awesome, and had it shoot boulders towards the player. This was fairly simple as I just used the script I used for the enemy projectiles as they do perfectly to attack the player and stun them. Then I went ahead and got into the time waste, which basically is just a blocker of positions. That one was pretty easy, more just a model than anything. Up next, I went ahead and made the propaganda stand that takes advantage of the Zoj propaganda I already had in the game to blind the player. This took a little bit of restructuring as there were some faults in logic as I went along, but I squished that out pretty quick and got it working beautifully. Now, sliding into the finish here, I'm working on the time distortions. We plan on posting a lot of these around in the hit squad levels, and they do various things like reduce the cost of a tower, increase the cost of a tower, or give the tower an attack speed buff. We plan on putting a bunch of these out there and probably even coming up with a few more before we release the game. And boom. Only took me 7.5 hours. 'Cause I'm good. Yes! Alright guys, I wrapped up that challenge and well ahead of schedule, which I was super hyped about, and I'm super glad to have that off my plate. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and if you liked seeing these challenge videos and want to see me do more, also drop that below. And, as always, no, not game on, wishlist Time Walk Tower Defense on Steam. It really helps us out. And now, game on.